His book documents these incredible experiences with 26 thrilling stories and lots of action-packed photos. Dancing on the Edge of an Endangered Planet is a totally awesome title. It's a thrilling memoir that portrays the adventurous life of a poor farm boy who has a strong love for the environment and believes in following his dreams. And he's going to read from it right now.
Dance on the Edge is an incredible thrill, but falling off can really suck. I've experienced both. But this book started out, I was trying to be a freelance writer, and I started out working for a nonprofit called the American Whitewater Association. Woo! They had a monthly publication. It was all volunteer writers. We got the privilege of getting published, and if we were lucky, they sent our slides back. But that was a good practice. And then I tried to branch out. I sent out a few query letters, and I don't have that much stamina for those sort of things, marketing. So after doing a few of those and getting rejected, I was I'll just add some more. And I was really enjoying the writing, and so I added a bunch more, and it turned into a memoir. It is basically a memoir. It's written in the style of short adventure stories. But the reason I'm so compelled to do adventurous things, which you'll see if you read my book, it's just something about it. You organize a group of people, and you jump in a little over your head, and you really find out what you're made out of. Almost everybody can do more than they really think they can. And the only way to do it is to do it. Another reason for adventure sports, one of the byproducts, is the people you meet. I have met some incredible people during my life. And one of my favorites is the Naked Devil.
Oh.
This is a true story. John Foss, the late John Foss, was an incredible kayaker, very strong personality. He loved nature, and he loved nature running around in his natural state. And they were, I wasn't on this trip, but they were doing a river that had never been run before in the Amazon jungle. And they got to camp. It was a multi-day trip. You can carry a lot of gear in a kayak. And John immediately took off everything except his chacos and his camera and went out to explore the local home for the night. And he encountered this local native woman, and she just screamed and ran away as fast as she could. And then a couple of days later, they finally got to a village, and everybody came running. It's like, did you see the Naked Devil? I'm going to start out with just naming some of the chapters here. I think that's a good way to start. But the first one is called Learning to Ski. That was really the beginning of my adventurous life. I had been introduced to skiing as a young pup in North Dakota. My parents were Scandinavian, and long cold winters had to keep the kids entertained. And so we had sleds and we had skis. And the skis were extremely primitive. They were like no edges, wooden. The binding was a single strap, like a wristband. And the boots were the same ones I used to milk the cows with. They were a wart boot with a rubber overshoe. And it was wind crushed. So the hills weren't very steep. I basically pack out like a bobsled ride. And then if I could just stand up and make it down, that was success. And then I did that for a few years, and then when I went to college, I got invited on a real ski trip with chairlifts and skis with edges. And it was like shooting up heroin. I got addicted. Dropped out of college, moved to a ski town. The trouble with that, though, is you move to a ski town for the skiing, and then you discover rock climbing and kayaking. And the next thing you know, you're 72. But it's been a good ride. My first attempt at being a ski bum was I found there was a ski area in South Dakota, Terry Peak, South Dakota, and there was a gold mine that was always hiring, and it was good pay. So, sounded like a good opportunity. That was my first winter. The mine got to be a lot more adventuresome than the skiing, so I moved on to carpentry. But probably one of the stupidest things I ever did was the story's called Trying to Be a Cowboy. It was my first winter in Aspen, and I had grown up on a ranch. I was very comfortable with horses. And I saw a poster. Hey, a rodeo's coming to town. Wow, I can do that. I called the promoter, who was happy to take my money. He said I could borrow the necessary equipment from one of the local cowboys. So, but I made one tiny little mistake when I did my research. The W/J rodeo was a professional rodeo with professional horses and professional riders. And it was an exciting ride. The next chapter is called Why Do We Climb? A brief synopsis of climbing terms and psychology. My old partner and I met a Argentine psychiatrist on a small mountain. It was just a hiking peak. And I couldn't resist. It was like, why do we climb mountains? And he had a great comeback. It was like, I think you're both very crazy and you should come to my office tomorrow. Big Air. John and his friend Rick are trying to compete in the aerial division of the professional freestyle circuit. And the adrenaline flows freely as they test their skills on some big jumps. The Aspen Town Downhill. This is one of the best town series races in the world. The 23-year-old, somewhat seasoned skier buys an old pair of 225 racing skis at a garage sale and decides to give it a go. Going 80 miles per hour on skis is every bit as exciting as it sounds. A summer in the Needles. I was commuting between North Dakota and Aspen for a few years. My dad said, "You're not doing anything anyway, why don't you come and help me farm for a couple." I was like, okay. I could farm in the summer and ski in the winter, and worked out for a while. But in between was the Black Hills of South Dakota are a little paradise. And Custer State Park is just like out of The Hobbit. It's just an amazing place. And we just lived there, camped, climbed every day, and just had a magnificent summer. Adventure in the Andes. My first international trip. My friend was supposed to meet me at the airport. Having things cased out, I had to work a little more. And he called me the day before I was going to leave. I was like, my knee was sore and I got robbed. So I came home. I didn't speak any Spanish. I mean, literally, El Baño and Cerveza was about it. But somehow I survived and had an incredible trip. So this one's kind of an epilogue. It's called Hope for the Endangered Planet. I have walked or paddled in so many incredible places, and everywhere I go I find beauty and sometimes peace. But this planet is being destroyed in front of my very eyes, and I feel somewhat helpless. I believe that optimism and a good sense of humor are essential for survival in this crazy world. It is still an incredible place, so get out there and enjoy it while you can, because life could end at any minute, and you might only live once.